Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how I did this kind of painting using a few different techniques. First, I looked at my reference image and drew it. Then I'm using batik dye. So this is kind of a watered down pigment, but it's saturated with color. So it's liquid dye. Normally this is used for fabric, but we're going to put it onto our canvas board. And if you notice, I'm not trying to stay in the shapes. This is going to add a nice layer of color over the whole thing. I did pay attention to one bottle should be kind of green and then the other bottle should be kind of red. But for this step, we're going to make sure that it even blends outside. And in the original painting, the background was white, but my background is going to be full of different colors. Now, what I did is I blow dried it. Then after you blow dry it, you're going to start to use acrylic paint and pop out even more colors. Now you can start to be more specific. I'm going to focus on making sure the red bottle and the caps are nice and bright red because now my acrylic paint is more saturated. Then I do have a magazine next to me if I need to mix colors. I'm adding a little bit of white highlights. You can add those white highlights at the end. You're going to notice that because the batik dye, sometimes it mixes with the paint as you're painting it. That's okay, we want some of that too. So I needed like a lime green. So first of all, I'm going to make sure my brush is nice and clean as I'm selecting the paints. I took a bit of yellow, wiped all of it off, then a bit of green, mixing it together. Now I'm going to go into the green bottle and add some of those colors in. I don't fill my brush with paint because then I can easily go pick up other colors without messing up the paint in the paint tray. Okay, again, adding a bit of white. As I'm going, you're going to notice that, like I said, the original, the background was white, but I didn't want it to be pure white. So by having some of that batik dye in the background, it's going to blend a little bit with that white paint, and it gives it a nice overall hue or different tones of colors to it. If you want a pure white area, what you would do is you would paint. You still need to do the dye over the whole canvas. Then we're going to add some white paint on top of it, and when that blends in, you're going to see it still has a bit of the color, but we can just blow dry that and add another layer of the white as well. If you notice, I'm not painting everything. There's some parts where the dye has a really nice texture, or I actually like the tone of that. So I went and add some of the white, cleaning the brush. I felt like the labels needed a bit more white, but I didn't want to totally cover the words that I had already put on there with marker. So I'm going to kind of do a dry brush, which is only a little bit of paint on your brush at a time. Or you're going to see on the one on the left, I actually do go over the words a bit more than I should, but that's okay. I totally covered that one up. Then after it dries, I'll go back again and add more white. And then after it totally dries, I can go ahead and write in the word Tabasco again, because that was the word that was on there. Oh, I felt like that little shadow, it needed a bit of a bluer tint to it. So I went ahead and added that using a dry brush, which means just a little bit of paint on there as I'm filling it in. After you're finished doing it with acrylic, you're going to go back and see if there's any other sections you need to add more color to. And then after it's dry, you'll use the zebra marker or a different kind of permanent marker to go back and add some other details. Okay, now it's your turn. Have fun.